Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks. And somebody with a plasma cutter is trying to cut this out. And I'm a little bit confused because it's real little. Maybe he's just drawing it real little and he's going to scale it up. But he's having trouble cutting out because the inside of the R is going to fall out. And so you need to make a stencil font. So I'm just going to look at this, and this thing is only 1/4 of an inch thick. And if you're doing it that little, you probably need to use 1/4 of an inch box. And I'm going to make 1/4 of an inch box. And first of all, I'm going to change this to a hairline. Doesn't matter if it's black or whatever. And also, your item up here is 1/2 point. So you need, if you're a plasma cutter or even a laser engraver, you need to change that to a hairline so it will cut. So now we have a box, and we're going to make it 0.25 large and scaled with objects, so it doesn't really matter. We don't need it that long. And the R and these little letters are going to fall out. Everything else is going to fall out but look good. So you could either just do one box, or in this case, because that'll keep it intact. And I'm going to set my nudge factor on 12 inches. And you could use the virtual segment delete key to do this. But since we're doing it this way, let's just use the Smart Fill tool. And we're going to fill that in. We're going to nudge it over. So I'm left click, right click, and you see it's 500 points. So we need to make it a hairline. And that should be, it should be a hairline. That's because you draw in 500 points. So being a plasma cutter with nothing selected, I would double click on this, graphic, okay, 1/2 hairline, and this will set your default. And also we need to set this to RGB, and then go up to your color palette and hit red and hit okay. And then every time you draw a graphic, it's going to be a hairline box. And to save that, just go to Tools and Save as Default. And then that'll save it for next time. And then just take your E. We need to break this apart, or break the curve apart. And we need to take that E and just nudge it over. Take that, nudge it over. Take that, go ahead and take your holes. And I've got this locked because that way you can grab it, but you can go to Object, Unlock, and then you could actually nudge that over. And then that way it's exactly where it was. Now on the smaller letters, the same thing. My plasma cutter would not cut out that letter because it's only 3/8 of an inch tall. So surely you're going to size that up, unless your plasma cutter will cut that fine. And we'll just act like it will. So we're going to get the parallel dimension tool. We're just going to measure this. So we're talking about 0.07 of an inch. So we can make our rectangle 0.07 of an inch thick. Now on an O, I would maybe stretch this out and actually move it over here, and it should, and it's not, because you don't have snap to, well, you do have snap to object one, but that's a curve. So there's two ways to do that. You want this right in the center. Let's get rid of that R. We don't need any more. We'll select both those, and we're going to go E and C. Let's just make sure it worked. And that might be one of our problems right there. But let's go E, C. And then that way it's in the center. And then I would just do the same thing with the Smart Fill tool. Fill that in, move it over. Excuse me. You'll have to do that to each letter, but you could use this same box and just, use, on the P, I would just do like that part of it. Try to kind of get it in the center and Smart Fill. And what's that doing is leaving a cutout. And now when we change this and see, I grabbed the box. That's why I had it locked a while ago. I'm going to left click, right click, and now you can see it's a hairline. So if you'll just do that for each letter, on the P, maybe I'd come from the bottom or even over here. And maybe, hopefully you're going to make this bigger than I think you are. But then just move the other letters over, and they are hairlines already. So the letters that don't have a spot, you can move over. Now we've already done the P and the O, so we'll just do an R, Smart Fill, move it over. Now the A, it's kind of hard on the A. And you can actually do the same thing we did a while ago with selecting them both and go E, C, and that'll put it in the center. And then just hold down your control. Whenever you move something, move it back. Grab that shape and hold down the control button and get that. And then go move that over. Take the R, and maybe I do the R just like we did the P. I'm not worried about getting in this center. And we've moved everything over equally. And then just take, coming off your page, and select those letters and go no fill. And that should work. That's going to be really small. And if this is his font, you don't have any choice. But since I know you're a plasma cutter, this is surely going to be bigger than 10 inches. So let's just do that. Let's say you're going to make this that big. Well, then everything might work. You know, now your distance is a little more than 1/4 of an inch. You know, now we're at, so you could actually move, you know, so I would scale it to size of what you're going to have it in and have 1/4 of an inch between this. The least amount you have, the better it's going to look. Anyway, I hope that helped him a little bit. Thank you for watching.